Hi, I'm Kate Wyatt from Paella Puppets. I'm just making some eyeballs for my latest puppets, and I'm needle felting them. So I thought I'd do a quick how-to video on how to needle felt eyeballs. So these are the ones I've just finished for the puppets. They are just, I love them. I love needle felting. There's some others that I've done as well previously. So I'm going to start with some of this, which is wool roving. I'm going to change the angle of the camera so you can see what's happening, and for certain parts of this video I'm going to speed it up because they take a little while to do. So this that I've got here is core wool. We're in the UK. We source this from English sheep. Well, not personally, somebody else does the sourcing and the carding. So this is from wool fleece, and this is for the centre of the eyeball because it's slightly cheaper than the coloured stuff and the white, pure white stuff that we put on the top. So you take a piece that you think is roughly the right size and you basically roll it up. Now I'm using a foam mat. You can make your own foam mat, you don't have to buy a special one. If you're a puppet maker, you might have odd bits of foam lying around, or you can use an old car sponge or something like that. And you need felting needles, and these are barbed needles. You can buy them in any craft or hobby place, and I've got a little wooden handle which helps you to control it. So the barbs on the needle here, as you stab them in and out, that's the needle. That's why it's called needle felting. So you can buy leather thimbles because when you're a beginner you do tend to stab yourself. Well, I still stab myself a bit now. I'll post a little picture up here somewhere down here so you can have a look, see what they look like, because you don't want to bleed all over your eyeball, and they're quite sore when you stab yourself. So I'm going to just keep turning this, and as the fibres start to mat together it will start to take a spherical shape. Now it's starting to take on more of a spherical shape. It's still quite squishy. You're going to keep stabbing away till you've got your shape, and it will start to reduce in size as it gets more and more dense and the fibres mat together more and more. So you may want to add more. It depends on the size of the eyeball you want. So to make this a little bit bigger, I take some more of the core wool and just wrap it round and keep going. You can get these needles in a variety of sizes, small, medium and large, and you can also get handles that take multiple needles, which some people like to work with because it speeds up the process. I prefer one needle. I find it easier to work with, and I'm generally doing this while I'm watching telly or something, so I'm not generally in a mad rush to get it done. Generally take my time, and one needle is fine for me. Okay, so I've got this other one that I did earlier, and I'm aiming to make it about the same size, so I'm nearly there. It needs to be a little bit smaller because I've already covered this one with the pure white, more silky wool, which is generally known as merino wool, which comes, you can see the difference. in the quality. So that you use that for the middle. That's a rougher core wool, and this is more for the top. This is a pure wool. You can get this one in all sorts of colours, and it's actually quite easy to needle felt. So in some ways it's easier to work with than this, and it's just that this is a beautiful white, so I like to use it for eyes. So I'm going to start to cover this in a moment with this white. Now, when you get it in a long string like this, sometimes you get it in a sort of bulk, in a sort of a wad, and other times you get it in a sort of a long string, so that's easy to pull apart. This one, if you get your hands close together, it's very difficult to pull apart, so the trick is to put your hands far apart and then pull gently, and then it comes away. So obviously I don't need that much. Pull gently. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to work it a little bit more, and then I'm going to add some white in. And I'll just wrap it round and start stabbing away. Want to cover that more creamy colour with the pure white. So I'm going to bring my other eye in at this point, and they're pretty much the same. You see lots of little hairs sort of floating around. You can roll it in your hands, and that gets rid of some of those, but you can actually get a pair of scissors and snip them off if they annoy you. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add an eyeball colour. Just bring this one in here so you can see what I'm aiming for. Let's put it on its eye surround so it doesn't roll. So yeah, that's an eye surround. I've also needle felted, which I'm not going to use with these particular eyes on this puppet, but I'll show you a little bit later what it's very good for some puppets, just not the particular one I'm making eyes for at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to give them blue eyes. So I'm going to take a small amount of blue and I'm going to roll it into a flat round in my hands, about the size of the pupil that I want, maybe slightly bigger. That's a bit too big. So I'm going to tuck some bits in to make it slightly smaller. You can work it smaller actually on the eyeball anyway. Let's pop that one out of the way. You can see what I'm doing. So I'm stabbing sort of in a circle shape, but not right to the outside of the circle that I've made with the wool, because I want it to be slightly smaller than what I've put on there. So I can stab in the middle, and I'm sort of roughly drawing with the needle the size of the circle that I want. And you can see that I'm leaving some of the bits around the outside because I'm going to tuck those in with my needle until I get the size, the right size and the right shape. And you can also stab from the side, which will reduce the size of the circle and change the shape slightly. So you can work from the top and the sides until you've got just the right shape. And you want to keep working that. You can let your pupils stand proud a little bit, if that's what you want, or you can just keep working it until it's flat. Coming in from the side again. Okay, and there we have the blue pupil. And then for the black, I'm going to take a small amount of black and I'm going to roll it into a ball in my fingers. And place it on the centre and start stabbing. And again, I'm going to do that same thing, that I'm going to try and create a circle with my stabbing, and very carefully create the round using the direction of the needle, either to push the black out slightly to create a circle, or to push it in slightly if I need to from the edges, like I did with the blue. The other thing you can do is, I just want to neaten up my blue edge, is to take a little bit of the blue wool and twist it so you get a nice neat line, and then you can put it at the edge, stab some so it holds there, and then keep twisting and just work around the edge. That will give you a nice neat line around the edge. And if you look at your own eye or somebody else's eye, you'll notice that quite often there is a different colour around the edge of your eye. You might be blue-eyed with a green ring around the outside, and you could do that quite easily with this technique. So twisting, coming back round the other way. This is going to give me a nice neat outline to the eye. And there we are. Now, in order to bring life to your puppet, you always need a little spot of white, because that is the light in the eye. So I've rolled a tiny bit of white, that's probably too much. A little bit of white, and off center, you want to stab that into the black. See what a difference that makes? Brilliant. And there we go. Okay, now with this one you can see I've done an eyelid in the needle felting, and you just do that in the same way, wrapping around a different colour, and I've added a black line around the outside as well. So you just carry on doing that in the same way. By wrapping the colour around. So let me just show you quickly that. So you just get whichever colour you want for the eyelid, and you wrap it around. And you just start stabbing. So to get that eyeliner effect, you pull yourself some of the black wool. It's difficult for you to see it against. I'll take that away, maybe it's easier to see against the table. And you're sort of twisting yourself a line, really, that you're going to stab around the outside. And so, same as you did with the purple around the outside of the eye, you're twisting yourself a line. And stabbing it in place. And then just keep twisting and working your way around. And just keep working it all in. And there we are. Now I'm going to work the white of the eye a little bit more, because we've now got quite a slightly dish-shaped eyeball, and that's because we've been working the back of the eye. Now we need to work the front to keep the spherical shape. If I've gone slightly off, I can use my needle to slightly adjust where I've got the black line by pushing it further back on the eye. And you can keep playing until you're happy with it. Basically using the needle, wherever you stab, it will slightly reduce in size. And you can gradually start to get a feel for how that you are in control of the shape then. So there we are. Now let me just go and get the puppet so you can see how it works with the puppet. So this is the head of our fuddle pattern. I'm making a female fuddle here, and you can see that the eyes, these eyes that I've made, actually work really well on her. I need to work on the positioning, but I think they're going to look fabulous. I've done some Eva foam eyelashes, which when I've sewn the eyes on, see if I can get them to balance for you. I think they will look really, really lovely, and she's got to have a little nose here as well. But if I remove the hair, which is just pinned in place at the moment, take the pins out and use the eye surrounds, you can see how all of a sudden the fuddle pattern would make a fantastic alien. So this is our newest pattern that we're working on, and you can see it's going to be a really good pattern for character puppets. Anyway, there you go. That's how, very quick way, how to make needle felted eyes for your puppets.